butter board. Uh, you, and to be perfectly honest, I had never heard of a butter board until about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is a butter board? So I think that would be a good place to start to tell the readers of Living the Gourmet exactly what is a butter board.
I mean, just to kind of break it down, I guess we could start with where it came from, right? And I think there was a whole trend for the last like about year and a half of almost anything on a board, right? Like you would do Halloween boards where you just cover them in candy. And so I think some chefs took a high end version of that and they started to take whipped and flavored butters and garnish them on top with appropriate accoutrement, if you will. And they would add, warm bread with it or a baguette. And it was kind of an appetizer or a play on the butter service for high end restaurants.
Okay. I truly had never even thought of a concept like that. Now, one of my questions would be, what do you whip the butter? Do you just let it soften like when you're getting ready to bake? Or and then you put it all over the board and then you add what you want to it?
Yeah, so I always with these boards, I always whip them because you get a lot more volume, and so it's not so heavy on the diner or the person eating it, and it gives me an opportunity to flavor the butter. And like, so if I wanted to add, sea salt, or if I wanted to add pesto, you can add different flavor components while you're whipping it, and it really soaks up all those flavors, and that's kind of what butter does.
It's really like an infused butter, like when you do it for a holiday or whatever.
Absolutely. So all you do would just take that butter and then you would spread it out and then you would take flavor components that would be appropriate for that butter on top, just kind of like a garnish so people can scoop it up with the bread.
I know I and my kids love the garlic infused butter. But I don't make it as often because it's too tempting.
Yeah.
It is good. And now another thing, I know a lot of people like to cook ahead of time for the holidays. I like to do as much as I can the day of, to be perfectly honest, because
Okay.
I just like getting up real early on Thanksgiving and getting right at it. But
Right.
a lot of people like to prepare ahead of time. So can you prepare a butter board ahead of time or no?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just well, yeah, it's just like I wouldn't put the garnishes on top, but you can definitely absolutely whip your butter and put it on the board. Depending on the cutting board and the style of board, you may want to be careful if it's like a wood board going into your fridge for the moisture. You don't want to mess up your cutting board, but you can absolutely get all the ingredients done ahead of time. And if you're only going to put it in, let's say you're going to put it in 2 or 3 hours before and just wrap it and put it away, there's no problem with that because you could take it right out and you just need about 30 minutes to let the butter soften at room temperature and then you're good.
Okay, and you mentioned the board. Do you suggest not using a wooden board or using even like a pretty serving tray or something like that, being it is butter?
I guess really whatever aesthetic you're looking for, right? Like some people love those, countertop cook boards. Like, I mean, I'm surprised nobody's ever just done one straight on there and let people just like sit around. So it's kind of the aesthetic you're looking for. But I mean, if you're going to try to hold it in the fridge, I would try to stay away from the wood. But if you're going to do it day of, find a big, beautiful cutting board that maybe you got for a wedding gift or a Christmas gift and put it on there and just let people go at it. I think the wood brings a different aesthetic to it.
Right. That is something I know most people these days, or a lot of people have the granite or the quartz. Gee whiz,
right.
You probably just do it right there, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, especially if you like to do stuff like I had fun. We did an actual nacho setup for Super Bowl one year where we just covered our marble countertops and we just loaded it with nachos and we just put cheese and everything kind of the same way you would do with this board. Spread the butter out and just let people have fun with it. Kind of eat with your hands.
I know when company comes, as much as I put on the table, everyone stays on that little corner of my countertop and everybody just squeezes in there. And I actually love it though, because they're all in the kitchen.
Yeah,
No matter
and
how
it
much you
gives that
set
sense
up.
of community, you know.
Yeah, and it's fun. Now, you have some beautiful suggestions for a butter board, and
Hmm.
the one that caught my eye was the pumpkin because it is seasonal right now with the pepitas, and
Hmm.
so how do you get the marshmallow in that? I was curious about the marshmallow
Oh,
being.
yeah, I kind of do a couple different things with that one. So either you can melt the marshmallows down and make like a whip, like a marshmallow whip.
Right?
So I just warm them up, and then you can even do it on double boiler, and you kind of just pour it over the top, or you can actually take like the large marshmallows, and if you have a like creme brulee torch, I will literally
Mhm.
just take them and burn them like they would be like burnt marshmallows on a fire.
Yes, yes. That's it sounds. I know my mom and I tried to carry the tradition. Always did. You take an orange and scoop it out, and then put the sweet potato in, and then always put that marshmallow on top, and it would come out all ooey and
Yeah,
golden and beautiful. So I guess this is similar with the pumpkin, and
right.
you're putting the marshmallow on top.
Yeah, and you just don't fire it too long so you don't melt your butter, right? But you just kind of give it a nice color. You can go back and forth over real fast, and kind of gives you that fun like
Right,
Thanksgiving style flair.
right. And you have the caramelized onion and the charred spring onion. You have
Hmm.
beautiful ideas, and the hazelnut. I love hazelnut.
Yeah.
I love hazelnut. I
So
mean
I
that.
guess
Oh, I'm sorry.
right. No, you're good. And I guess the idea is like is the butter is just the vessel, if you will, and it's a way for you to combine flavors and add a whole bunch of flavor on the back end,
Right.
to kind of to just present it in a different way.
And you could make them spicy. You could make them, not so spicy. However you, I'm sure,
Oh,
want.
there's so many ways to go with it. Like, I mean, it's just endless possibilities. I mean, you can make it like a Korean butter board where you do like kimchi butter
Mm.
and pickled, Korean pickles and different things, and then serve it with um, taro chips. There's just a lot of different ways to go.
I have found my new favorite spice is the gochujaro. I love putting that into everything. So you could actually put that in the Korean chili flakes into the butter. Oh, that
Hmm.
would be good with a little sesame oil or sesame seeds and your charred spring onions.
Hmm.
But I guess only your imagination limits you to what you can do with this.
I mean, I guess you could put some flavors that maybe don't go well together, and you're gonna have to learn that lesson on your own.
Oh, yes, but I love thinking up new flavors in my head.
There you go.
I do. I really love doing that. Now, what is the Intuit that you would you tell us about that?
Sure. Yeah. It's called Intuit. So
I'm sorry.
yeah, no, you're good. I mean, we've actually had some confusion. There's a computer company called Intuit, but Intuit is a chef booking, private and personal chef booking platform. So we recruit very high end, top level chefs, and we match them with bespoke clients that are looking for private dinners, wedding receptions, you name it, we do it. And we have about 54 chefs on the platform right now.
I see. And do they come right to your home and cook, or do they cook and bring it?
So it works a little bit of both ways. So if you, depending on your timing structure, if you want them to come and do everything in your home, like let's say it's more of a class, they would
Right.
absolutely do that. Or they can get ahead of time. Maybe you only have 2 hours, and you maybe aren't at home for all that time while the chef's getting ready and prepping. And so
Uh-huh.
he or she may need to do a little prep offsite, so it doesn't shrink the amount of time that they're there, and so they can execute the meal.
I see. I see. Well,
Mhm.
that's great. I bet you a lot of people will do that for their holidays who don't want to be overwhelmed.
Oh,
And
it's a great thing to kind of take pressure off, like a dinner or a hosting of a dinner, and so you don't have to worry about anything like the food, the plates, the actual serviceware. Everything will be brought by the chef, and then
really,
perfectly cleaned up. Yeah.
and you do the shopping too.
Yep.
Oh, that I'm sure a lot of people will be inclined to want to do that for the holiday. Now,
Yeah.
where can we go to learn more about you, Chef Michael?
So a couple different places. So you can go onto the Intuit platform and look me up. I'm also on there. It's got my trading card and everything, and it's got some details about me. Or literally, you could Google me. You can Chef Michael Sanguinetti at Gmail, or not at Gmail. That's my email, but you can Google me.
That's Chef Michael Sanguinetti.
Yep. And you can just type me into Google and I pop up a lot of places. So there's a ton of stuff there. And then again, Chef Michael Sanguinetti at gmail.com or Michael at intuit.com is my other email. And then I actually, if you go the chef _ Mikey on Instagram, it's kind of my Instagram there. So,
well, I hope everybody does go and look you up. And I hope you do wonderful on that Intuit, because I think that a lot of people might want to, more people I'm sure will be staying home and they want to serve a beautiful dinner. And what's better than having a wonderful chef like you prepare it for them. And then they can even watch and learn for the future.
Right. And a lot of our chefs teach like pasta rolling classes or sushi rolling classes or do wine tastings. And it's not just for their home. Like if they're on vacation up in Vail and they have a full kitchen, you know, and they have 7 days and maybe they don't want to go out every day and it's hard to get 10 family members into a restaurant up in the mountains. That's kind of, we a lot of vacation stuff too.
Well, and also, quite honestly, it's more affordable this season to stay home.
Yeah.
And then, although I do feel, you know, the restaurants do need the business too, but it's kind of a catch-22. Do we know how to stay home? But you'd have the best of both worlds. You're kind of staying home and still going out at the same time because you're doing the cooking and everything.
Right.
So it's kind of beautiful.
And we do have a few restaurants on the platform right now that their chefs are represented on there. So it's not like we're just 100% private and personal. We do have a few restaurants on there.
That's wonderful, because it really, it's probably a bit of a struggle coming back after, you know, being a long time not being able to go out.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a wonderful thing, and I wish you all the best and that you do really well on it. And
I really appreciate it.
It's so nice meeting you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
For visiting.
Absolutely.